When you are experiencing chronic fatigue, the last thing you feel like doing is anything. It's just and such an immobilizing state. Your body just doesn't have energy to do a thing. And it is the most frustrating state to be in. How do I know? I found myself in chronic fatigue a few years ago. And it really felt like there was so much I wanted to do, but my body just didn't have the energy. Today, I feel amazing. Oh my goodness. I feel vital, I feel vibrant. I feel better now than I did when I was going through my menopause. And in this video, I'm going to share with you how to get out of chronic fatigue and how I got myself out of chronic fatigue because I understood what my biology was doing. I'm Yasmin. I'm the founder of Soma, which is a way of listening to your body to bring it back in tune. So when I found myself in that state, I understood what my nervous system was doing. I understood how to tune in and bring my body back into this energetic state. And listen, it wasn't a quick fix. Let me tell you, it didn't take a few weeks. Because here's the thing, when you start to connect with yourself again and really listen, you learn that your life experiences, the relationships that you have with your family, with the people around you, isn't something that you can ignore or just change overnight, right? So it's learning how to bring your body into a state of recovery. And this is where I'm taking you next. So to bring your body into a state of recovery, the first part is to really understand how you got into that immobile state. And when we look through the lens of the nervous system and the work of Stephen Porges is a neuroscientist, and he guides us to a way of looking at the nervous system through his polyvagal theory. And what that theory explains to us is that we don't have, just sympathetic where we're using energy and then our body rests and we're recharging. We don't just have an energy depleting state and an energy restoring state. We are a complex system that's processing information all the time. And in the work of the polyvagal theory, Stephen Porges gives us a third state of our nervous system. So your nervous system is managing your biology, it's processing information, it processes how you experience stress in your body, and your biology adapts. So to keep it really simple, I'm going to guide you to your sympathetic state, energy activation. You're using energy, which we need. We want to wake up in the morning, feel vital, vibrant, be able to kind of do things in our day. And when we've come into this energy depleting state, then our body needs to rest and recharge, right? So we have this. But this third state is an energy conserving state. And really, that's where we find ourselves in chronic fatigue. And we find ourselves in that state because our body is adapting to how we feel, how we take in or process information, how we live our lives. And we may be living life on autopilot, just coping without finding the joy in our day, without finding moments of real rest and recovery, right? So, so the states, you have energy activation, your sympathetic nervous system, often referred to as fight-flight. You then have this calm, connected, energy revitalizing state. That's the state we want to get to. Or we're in this immobile state, freeze fold. So either fight, flight, connection, calm, your energy has peaks and troughs and you're able to manage your emotional state. And then you have this energy conserving state. So what takes us into that immobilization? It's our emotional state, how we deal with stress, how we cope with anxiety. And listen, emotions are energy, right? Your emotional state is an energetic state. So when we feel nurtured and when we feel taken care of and when we feel at ease, it's an energy restoring state. When we're stressed and anxious and just living life on autopilot and we're not experiencing that nurturing sensation, we are putting our body into an adapted physiological state that will take us into this immobilization. So you want to look at your body or connect to your body in a different way. Recognize that your body is sending you information, and learning how to connect to your body can help you regulate your state, help you recognize how to take those moments of rest and ease and finding time to nurture yourself, for example. So just to recap, your body's either using energy, conserving energy, or you're in this recovery restoration state. And chronic fatigue, so we're often told to listen to our body, but you can listen to your body and you might feel like your body doesn't want to move. But when you understand the biology and you understand the nervous system, you can recognize that your body needs mobilization, but it needs it in a particular way, right? So, and it needs to awaken from that immobile state. So how do you do that when the last thing you want to do is get out and exercise, which really that's not where I'm taking you, by the way. You just want some body-led practices, somatic practices, sending a new sensation to your body, sending information that's going to start nurturing your body. My number one is to get outside, spend time outdoors in nature, because part of your biology works, or not part, your biology works with nature's rhythm. It works with natural light and dark, and alongside that, also how it makes us feel. So we want a feel-good sensation. And I don't know about you, but I love spending time outdoors. When it's cold and you're wondering, how do I do that? You may start small, and I'm going to guide you to that. But the number one way in my practice in Soma sensing is to get out into the light early morning, let your gaze wander. So let your eyes, take in color, shapes, even sounds, pleasant sounds. So you're wanting to experience pleasant sensations. And as you're experiencing that, there is motion that's happening. Your body's getting out of immobilization. When you allow your gaze to wander, your head's turning, right? So there is, you're in the moment, you're interrupting your state. So you're interrupting that autopilot of information that your body is stuck in. You're taking your body out of a stuck state into an energy restoring, a recovery state, just by this simple somatic practice of allowing your gaze to wander, to explore, to be in the moment, right? To just recognize, to take that moment to pause. So you can step outside, take that moment to pause, and just allow things to emerge. You don't want to try and do anything, just take that moment to pause. And this is where the rest state is. You want to rest. The way that you're resting is not lying down to restore energy, but to awaken your body and send it a feel-good sensation, so there's shifts that begin to happen in your body. Okay, so that is my number one practice. And movement. So what type of movement? Not exercise, but fascial unwinding. Your fascia is the fabric that shapes everything in your body. It is a sensory web. It requires the kind of movement that recharges your body. When you are feeling tired or stiff or tense or stuck, it's not happening in your muscles. The tightness is in your body's fascia. And one simple way is to recognize that sensation. So if you're sitting with discomfort, for example, say I'm sitting here and I'm feeling like, oh, I can sit in an easier way. Listen to that. That is your body sensation. And that sensation of, oh, I feel a little bit of discomfort sitting this way, happens in your body's fascia. So any stiffness, tightness, and then you can just adjust and move to where it feels easier. And so motion happens just by that simple listening. So if you're sitting, and you can also, if you're in chronic fatigue, there's a practice called the body bounce. You can explore that on this channel. But for the purpose of this video, it's really to help you understand your state and how frustrating it can be to feel immobile, and how to find a simple way to get out of that immobility. Now, if you are really feeling like, oh my goodness, I don't even think I can bring myself outdoors. I felt that way. But my awareness was, I know my body's in the state. Let me get out of bed in the morning. So you get out of bed as soon as you wake up. If you lie there, it's going to take you further into immobility. Is just get out of bed and just make your bed. So I would, just tidy up my bed. Motion, remember, movement. So you're adding some kind of motion to awaken you out of that state. Simple. It's not strenuous. Just easeful. Just tidying up, taking a little walk, even into your bathroom to brush, to start kind of awakening your body, brushing your teeth. You might splash a bit of cold water on your face to wake you up. And then let your eyes take in some natural light. Don't be tempted to look at your screen, because if you start looking at your screen, your nervous system takes you into a sympathetic fight-flight state. And so you're going to be staring at your screen. Your visual sense is not allowing you to let your gaze wander, and your eyes will start drooping, right? It's going to take you into immobility. So you want to awaken your body. If you're not going outdoors, you can look out of a window into the natural light, or let your gaze wander around the room. Take in some color. Something that really helped me was looking at colors, really bright, vibrant yellows or neon colors, even like a neon yellow or neon pink. So letting color stimulate you. The most important part is whether that color that you're looking at awakens you and starts to make you feel good. So color can awaken your eyes, because one of the signs of chronic fatigue is droopy eyes. You want to awaken. Just remember, awaken, you're not using a lot of energy, you're awakening to recharge and sending your body this feel-good sensation. So taking in color, sense of space. And this is how I got myself out of chronic fatigue. And I want to tell you some of the symptoms that I experienced. Insomnia was one of them. So I'd feel tired in the day and be immobile in the day. And then at night, when I do want to sleep, even though I'm feeling tired, my body I'd close my eyes and I might kind of just go into that deep sensation. And then suddenly my heart would send me palpitations. And then I'd be kind of awake, but not in a good way. And it's the most frustrating experience. So yeah, I'd feel awake, and that was my nervous system in dysregulation, right? So that was one of the symptoms. The other was tinnitus. I was experiencing this ringing in my ears. And one way that I overcame that was through sound. I was living by the sea. I still live by the sea, and listening to the sound of waves. So sounds in nature, sounds of the birds, sound of waves, has a particular frequency that can bring your nervous system into regulation. And look, I know there's sound therapy, and I've been to sound therapy, and it's great, but the sounds that really, really help are nature sounds. So the frequency that you're experiencing nature will recharge your body, really. And in Soma sensing, I guide you to learn how to take that moment to pause, to land in your body, to listen through your body, to sense and see through your body. And look, it's not a quick fix. This is not a quick fix. In somatic practice, we help you to connect with yourself, connect with your body, and to listen. It's the listening that matters. It's listening and noticing without feeling like you need to push yourself, without feeling like you're doing something wrong, okay? You're not having to push or do or have a sequence that you want to go through. It's just learning how to reconnect with yourself through your body, to recognize that the state that you find yourself in isn't your fault. It's happened because we live in a system that gives us background stress. And our nervous system has had to adapt to this background stress. We live in that system. And we start by becoming aware, and then having small practices, starting with maybe just recognizing that a gaze out into the light, noticing the shift in your body that happens when you explore. And if this is resonating with you and you want to work with me, I have a program called In Tune. It's especially for women. Because here's the thing. This is so, so important. The reason I found myself in chronic fatigue is that I was just being the person that was taking care of my family. I knew how to calm chronic pain. I'm a somatic practitioner. I was helping my mom with her health issues and getting her out of chronic pain, helping her to recover through her body. So taking care of my family, taking care of everyone else. I wasn't listening to the way my body was changing through my menopause, right? So connecting to your biology. As women, our body will change, and that change requires energy in our body physiology, and we don't notice that. So we just continue with this living life on autopilot, carrying our trauma in our body and adapting, just coping. And so we continue, and we're so disconnected from this changing body. We don't realize that it's using energy. Even when you go through menstruation, every month that a woman goes through menstruation and is shedding her uterus lining, the body is using energy. So period pains are a sign that your body needs rest and recovery. Okay, so not the kind of rest where you're lying down, but sending a feel-good, nurturing sensation. The same in perimenopause, the same after giving birth. Your hormones will change, your body will change, and you learn how to listen. Which brings me to this program that I offer for women that are going through midlife changes, that want to restore their energy and vitality. And oh my goodness, today I feel amazing. I have a vibrancy, a vitality like I've never felt before. And that vitality has happened by really listening to where my body's at and learning how to put my body first. And when you're living life and you're running a family and you're kind of doing all this stuff and you holding space, please take time out for yourself, even if it is half an hour outdoors, or maybe even start with 10 minutes. You really need self-nurturing. You need it. We really need it. So Intune is this program I've put together. It's a membership, so you can stay for as long as you require, but we really start with 3 months. The first 3 months is really getting to know yourself, really getting to put those somatic practices into your day, starting and noticing those little shifts. And then I take you through this journey. So this journey of self-discovery, this journey of how do you nurture yourself? How do you start to learn to say no to things? How do you live a body-led life? So for more information on Intune, you can go to the link in the description, and I will put some other links in there. Maybe you just want to start with a movement practice, but if you really want to get out of chronic fatigue, it is a process, and Intune, the program, can get you there if you really want to work with me. I hope this has been helpful. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below, and I will answer them in the best way that I can.